Yeah.
Brutality. Excellent.
Excellent! Excellent! Did you hear that? That excellent was excellent.
Welcome back to the second video in our mini course on leg locks, which are some of the most brutal and disgusting moves in all of self-defense. Now in the first video I showed you how you can escape from mount and tear your opponent's leg ligaments to shreds simultaneously and in 5 seconds or less. And in this video I'm going to show you exactly how versatile leg locks are. So you'll learn some new moves, I'll show you a bunch of different positions you can hit these things from, and possibly some that you didn't even know were possible. Possibly.
Impossible.
Most importantly, we're going to show you a combination of moves that will end a fight in 5 seconds or less from your feet with a leg lock. But the underlying theme here is that leg locks are available from all positions all the time. You just have to know where to find them, and then you can crush people at will. Trust me, my coaches, training partners, and I have been killing people with this stuff for years, and we're certainly not the only people doing it. Here's Frank Mir getting his face pounded by Brock Lesnar in 1 second, and the very next second, busting up some joints. Imagine instantly disabling this friggin' guy. Rusimir Palhares has ruined about 50 different people's legs in his career of being a huge dickhead. And even my little buddy Dan takes out competitive fighters twice his size in seconds using some leg locks. And then he celebrates obnoxiously. As will you if you take the time to learn this stuff. Now, all the leg lock knowledge that I have is actually an amazing gift to me from my first jiu-jitsu and MMA coach, Dan Fisher, who filled my head with mystical brutality, allowing me to crush people with it for years, and never asked me for a single dollar in return. He's a good guy. Dan is a submission fighting mastermind. He's an engineer, so he's aggravatingly smart, and he uses his knowledge of physics to destroy people's joints in brilliant ways. Stuff that nobody's ever seen before, and nobody's ever thought of before. That's how I tap out. Nice and pathetic. He's coached UFC guys like former champ and soon to be again champ Frankie Edgar, George Sullivan, Jeff Lentz, and more importantly me. He's coached me, and I say he's fantastic. There is a great video online of Dan mounting Fedor Emelianenko, who is the greatest heavyweight mixed martial arts champion to ever live. Which was kind of bad for the seminar, but hilarious for us. Anyhow, we can all learn a lot from this guy, and if you pay attention, he'll have you crushing people in fights in 5 seconds or less and getting the hell out of there. In fact, let's jump into a lesson with Dan right now, where he'll teach you how to win a fight almost instantaneously.
Okay, even a fight that starts standing up.
I was doing gay shit when you started, I'm sorry.
Stop doing gay shit. We're filming.
Not that there's, anything wrong with that.
Oh, hey!
Gay fuzz on you now.
I hate that gay fuzz. I have no problems with gay fuzz either. Moving on.
All right, so let's say we're standing up and we want to get the fight to go to the ground to execute one of these great footlocks we're talking about. I have learned a simple takedown that you don't have to be a great wrestler to perform. It's an ankle pick. I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. Let's just say your opponent is in a typical clinch just like this.
Real quick, you can take that clinch just by throwing a 1-2 into a kick and then grabbing the guy's head. Or you just grab his head. Back to the lesson.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my weight, pulling him down with me, and letting my foot go back, which causes him to put more weight on his front foot. Once I get this weight distribution, I'm going to drop my weight further, switch my grasp from his elbow to his Achilles ankle right here, and I'm going to drive my head into him, picking up this ankle.
From there, the game is pretty much over.
Snap! Oh.
Well, now it's over. But what the heck even happened? Well, for the sake of simplicity, we're going to show you this move from the ground to start. But like almost all leg locks, you can hit it from a number of positions.
So here we're on the ground. Trav is open guard, legs around me, but they're not locked. At this point, they're open. And I'm kind of lightly holding this opposing leg. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this leg down, and I'm going to run this knee over this leg. I'm going to take my other leg as I fall to this hand for base and just snap it right here. And while I do that, this hand lands on my hip. I'll just fall back on my elbow. Oh my God. And just pressure up, and the pain is really bad. Even though I'm not doing any kind of heel hooks or anything like that, the pain on the bottom of the calf and top of the Achilles tendon tends to be severe.
But is it enough to induce severe pain? We'll talk about that in a minute. For right now, just keep in mind, we want this to be an instant fight ender, and we still want it to happen from your feet. So from a standing position, you just clear that leg, and the other one clamps over the top violently.
So when you do this move more full speed, this knee runs through, bam, and this really hits hard right here, and then I just stretch out. And I have so much power, honestly, I could really just push this hip and push this hip.
Now that tap was just me being a baby, but my knee felt like it was gonna pop from the pressure. And that's what we really want, joint destruction. Now you may or may not know this about me, but I don't think that inducing pain is all that important in a fight. Inducing debilitation is. You destroy a joint, it doesn't work anymore, now the guy can't fight. Okay, certain people will give up when they experience a lot of pain. Take a good nut shot, for example. Well, there's certainly nothing that's shutting your body down. It's not like you can't stand on your leg anymore. People just become overwhelmed by the pain and therefore they give up. But not everybody will give up, especially if that person is mad enough. Kind of like this guy who just ignores a taser.
I'll get you, bitch.
For some reason, I believe him. So again, destruction and debilitation reign supreme. This calf slicer is great. It'll certainly cause the guy a ton of pain and could rupture some of the muscles in his calf and force him to limp around, but that's not necessarily going to finish the fight. Great way to make people submit out of misery, but for self-defense and debilitation purposes, there's a few things you might want to add. For example,
I could back you up. Tap. If for some reason I lose the calf, I still have heel hooks.
So apply your calf crush and apply it as violently as you can, trying to rupture the muscles in the back of the guy's calf, and then immediately reach back and secure the same heel hook that we taught you in the last lesson and pop some ligaments. That's an instant fight-ending sequence that starts from your feet, resulting in multiple forms of nasty leg trauma in less than 5 seconds. And one quick review.
I pull his weight back, clip the ankle, push him forward, and finish with a leg lock.
Then don't forget the heel hook. So if it's that easy and the moves are that destructive, why isn't everybody doing this? Well, this little behind the scenes conversation with Dan will answer that question. So we've been training footlocks for a long time. I love them, you love them, but what do you think it is that makes this such a powerful tool as if it's the great equalizer?
Well, they're very underutilized. And like you say, we've been training with them for a long time. Very few people know how to train them. They're not trained very often because a lot of the jiu-jitsu schools out there don't use them because of insurance purposes, because they are so dangerous. People get hurt by accident, they twist the knees up, and these guys don't want the lawsuits on their hands.
Essentially, most jiu-jitsu schools have determined that leg locks are too dangerous to be practiced in their gym, so they've been wiped from the curriculum. As a result, I'll estimate that 97% of jiu-jitsu guys have no idea what they're doing in a leg battle, and they certainly can't defend themselves against these moves. By the way, 100% of my statistics are completely fabricated, including this one.
So a lot of big main schools out there, you could pick them. They just don't train them. They don't like them. They don't want nothing to do with them. And I'm talking anywhere you look.
Since starting this video, the jiu-jitsu school that I go to actually banned heel hooks. So now we just do them while nobody's watching. Or at least I do them, which basically forces people to join me.
So now all of a sudden you have a footlock gym where they're actually practicing them and they're doing them. And you could train them and just be careful with them, Now you face a guy who never trained them. They may be excellent grapplers. From the waist up, they may be able to tear you apart. But once you get to that footlock position, they're white belts.
Right. The game, it's like a reset. It's a completely different
It's
fight.
as much a fish out of water as you fighting a jiu-jitsu guy being a boxer. When he takes you to the ground, you're a fish out of water, right? Well, when you get a guy who grapples, even if they're a black belt, if you get to their legs, they're a fish out of water. Because now they don't understand them. A lot of times they just scramble and just try and get away. That's all they do.
But they can't get out if you sink them in right. So the fish out of water effect continues, and you get to unleash the same type of dominance that jiu-jitsu guys first unleashed in the UFC before people understood ground fighting. You get to wreak that type of havoc, even if the person you're fighting happens to be a professional fighter.
I can only think of like 2 mixed martial arts guys that are really good at them right now, Marcin Held and Rousimar Palhares.
Who actually got kicked out of the UFC for hurting too many people with heel hooks, but not before he unleashed some dominance on his division, winning fights with leg lock after leg lock after leg lock, actually getting 11 out of his 18 wins with leg locks.
I mean, listen, you get on somebody's legs and you know what you're doing, it's an easy day.
It's an easy day. And it's going to continue to be an easy day because even the two biggest competitive jiu-jitsu federations in the world have banned heel hooks from their competitions, and they're not coming back. Even professional mixed martial arts fighters have managed to convince themselves that they don't need to learn leg locks because theoretically, if you're doing leg locks, you could get punched in the face. This guy actually tried elbowing Ken Shamrock in the shin just moments before his knee got destroyed. And look at little Genki Sudo with the 300-pound weight disadvantage, chilling in leg lock position, tearing apart Butterbean's knee. That would be Butterbean, the massive knockout artist. I didn't see him punching anyone. So this phenomenon has obviously created a void within Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and within mixed martial arts, and we can take advantage of that. We can take advantage of every single idiot who thinks that ankle locks and leg locks aren't effective, and we can certainly take advantage of the fact that the most prominent jiu-jitsu federations in the world are banning the moves. You're banning the moves? You are weakening the art. And as a result, we will step up and we'll create a new art, one that embraces the brutality and the danger and the destruction. And as a result, we will have a more effective self-defense and mixed martial arts fighting style. Embracing the brutality will make us more powerful. Embrace the brutality. It's like a slogan for a crappy energy drink.
Sound the alarm! You're gonna be uncomfortably energetic!
So if you watch the first 11 minutes of this video, I think it's safe to say that you're into the leg lock game and you like the stuff that we're showing you. So I wanted to do something to thank you and to give you a little special reward that other people who didn't watch this far will never see. Who doesn't love secret prizes? So Dan and I have created a full training course called Leg Locks, the Great Equalizer, for anybody who watches these first 3 or 4 videos and likes them and learns a lot and wants to go deeper and maybe add 50 brutal leg locks to the arsenal so you can crush people from any position at any time with a gruesome leg lock. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, a special little magical button will have popped up under this video. If you're on a mobile device, you're gonna have to close the video in order to see it. And I also included a special secret link at the very bottom of the page in case your browser doesn't support magical buttons. And yeah, that'll take you to a video where I describe the course, I tell you what's in it and how much it costs and all that stuff. And if you want to grab it, coupon code LEGLOCK will get you an extra special little discount that only people who watch this far will see. Again, just to say thanks and that I appreciate you and thanks for being a member and for being part of the game. Good on you, buddy. Now, as always, hey, stab the like button, and if you don't feel like stabbing the like button, stab the magic button and check out the rest of the course. Otherwise, I'll see you in video number 3.
Yeah.